Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for the 12th of August. We're just going to be covering the DAX and the Footsy. So with the DAX here, we're looking at this as wave 1 high here with an ABC wave 2 here, and the 61.8% retracement level would be around the 11,142 sort of area here. We could put that in here. So today I just want to have a look at two counts and also have a look at the S&P 500 as well, because driving factors and whatnot. So it's possible to have this as wave 5 and wave 1 here. It's also possible to have this as wave 3 here with wave 4 pullback. The wave 4 at this stage here hasn't overlapped wave 1 and is pulled back roughly to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. So I wouldn't want to see it come any lower than this particular point here. Otherwise that would be breached. It would need to continue to move up from that point. If it's this one here, wave C of 2 here, then we've got one more leg to come down here, and in that case, so that's what we need to talk about. We need to look at this, and we also need to look at the S&P with this as well. So if I just cut through to the hourly chart and pick it up from here and where we left off last time we spoke. So we're looking at it in twofold. When we spoke last time, this all in here was a little bit messy in here. So we had wave 4 just where it is. It's possible to put wave 5 just here like that. And that would justify everything quite sort of nicely, because this move down through here has overlapped wave 1 here. But on all the other markets around the world, well, US and Asia, we've still got wave 4 here, and we've still got one more move to go to the upside here. So that's this little pattern here. We'll have a look at the S&P 500 now, because we'll need to just have a look at these governing factors, and then we'll need to come up with strategy to be either long or short. So when we look at the S&P 500, and rightfully so, this here, and I'll just change that now actually, we should be 1 degree higher here on this if we're using this one here. So that should be there. And it's a bit weird, but I think that we could still be looking for one more little move to the upside here for this. And the reason for that is that when I bring across the US chart now, if I just bear with me a second, when I bring across the S&P chart here, we've got up for 1 here, back for 2 here, up for 3 here, and I was also looking for wave 4 to pull back into this space here, but on the DAX, this little high here, that made a new high here. We could call that wave 5, but it's not the case here. So we're still in wave 4 here, and we're looking for one more little 5 wave push to the upside here for this, and that would look like this on the tick chart here. So I just think it's worth sort of monitoring the S&P 500 if you're trading any of the European markets, because and understand what the S&P is doing as such in this case. So yeah, so wave 3 here with an A and a B, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave C. So basically on the DAX, this one here made a new high, which we can call wave 5, but I don't know if we should. And then the thing that sort of gets me is this particular move coming up through here. We can see that this ends quite nicely here with 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So this is 5 waves up here. And we're looking for an A wave here, a B wave to pull back up to the 50-60% retracement level. Looks like done that. And with 5 waves, an A and a B and a C wave here of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So basically what we're looking for here is wave 2. So we're looking for an A wave, a B wave and a C wave, pulling back to the the 61.8% mark from these lows here. So we're expecting a move down into this space here, then finding support here. We would only turn bearish on this market if the 2900 became the retested resistance, okay? So that's just something to watch. Otherwise, we're going to be going long. If we get 2930 as the support, then we can go long from that point. Or in fact, what we actually talked about doing on the S&P video is just drawing a line through when we get that high in, which is now. This is Asian opening time, not yet, but the futures markets are open. So yeah, so we can go long above that line through here. But if we're going to move up through here in terms of just pull this into space here, into 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 to finish this here, then then the S&P, then this market here, this is the DAX now, should do much the same. So yeah, that's the thing. So so I'm thinking this can be wave 1 here and wave 2 coming into play, and then wave 3, 4 and 5 here, and then finishing at that point. But otherwise we need to copy that and put that wave 4 in there, and copy that and put wave 5 there, and have that finished here. So the thing here though is that we could say that if this low is taken out here, then we could go short from that point, couldn't we? That we could go short because that was breached, we could go short from that point. We could also move this, and we could also look to go when that pulls back. If that pulls back down there, that will give us that little space there to go long on as well in that case. So it's, I mean, I'm just simplifying things here, but if I just go to the tick chart here now and look at that move down here, that move from the top here down through to this low here, this is the 61.8% here, and from that high here, or roughly down here, this is the other support area through here. So if we gravitate over to the closest largest number, mind you, I really like 72, as many of you know, so 11,720 would be a catalyst there. But if we use common sense and we go to 11,700, the closest largest number, if that becomes the retested resistance here, then you can go short from that point. Otherwise, the 11,800, you can go long from that point, or anywhere above the high here. Once that moves down here a bit, then anything above that high here, you can go long on at that point there. So yeah, there's a couple of counts. If we go to this particular count here, where we have wave 1 here, we would look at this as the A wave here, the B wave here. You can also have the A wave here as well. So in this case, we would count down as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1, and back for wave 2, down for wave 3. It's at the 38.2% retracement level here already, that line through here for wave 4. So we should just come straight down here in 5 waves for this one here to finish off in that space there. So we know where to be short now on that low, and if that's the case, then we'll be trading down to 11,500 here, which is a medium level, which is halfway between 10,000. I don't have that in 10,000 on this one. It's halfway between 10,000 and 13,000. So the Fibonacci numbers are as you know, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 10, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, which they talk as a cycle, and that squares up with Gann's 144 as well. But so for the trading levels, halfway between two major trading levels is the medium level here. And it's important to go halfway too between two major stops for some reason. I'm not a Gann trader, but Gann was quite big on that sort of thing. So that's why if I look at halfway between 11,500, the medium level, and the 13,000 here, that will bring us into halfway is 12,250. So you can just naturally see how important that level is. But you wouldn't sort of just pluck that out of the air for any particular reason, but working in this framing things up with the levels, trading levels is quite a handy little thing. So anyway, look, we've got two counts here. This is one of them, and obviously it can just go hit the 38.2 point, and it can just come straight down from that point. And that's likely. We know where to go short. If I look at the US markets, we've got a good possibility of making another high here, so we need to take that into consideration as well. So just coming back over here, we know where our levels are. We'll be going short here. You could probably go short well under 11,700. We just want to be once that becomes the retested resistance, we can go short there. We can also look to this is another important number here too, the 11,650. That's really quite important. That's important because we know the Fibonacci numbers go 1, 2, 3, 5 and 8 here, so 500, 800, and the 11,650 is the halfway mark here. It's also important as well. So that as resistance would be, you could add to that position there. You'd want to take money off the table, 11,500. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are really. So even though that this is overlapped wave 1 here, I just think we just need to be a little bit cautious on this. But it certainly could be wave 1 to the downside here with wave 2 sitting here. But the US is telling me that we're going to get another little 5 waves up, so I'm just pointing that out there. So I don't know which is, obviously there's this, if I looked at this just by itself, we would be coming down here, but taking the US into consideration, then we should be seeing this move up here in one more move to the upside here. So yeah, I don't know. There you go. The Footsy, let's have a check that out. So the same things happened with the Footsy as well. We're looking for, there's two counts in the bigger picture here, but we've just been looking at this here. So last time we spoke, we had wave 1 and 2, and we're looking up for wave 3 here, and we're looking back for wave 4 here. But wave 4, like the Asian markets and the US markets and the European markets, have drifted on. So, I really kind of, in this case here, this is a sideways correction, so it's a little bit easier for me to say that this is a wave 4 here. And if that's the case, we should make a new high, so we can bring that over to here. And this may not even be wave 4, but also what I wanted to talk about here is that, let's just say that we get our little, let's just draw 5 little waves in here for a moment. So once we get that 5 little waves here, that last high finished here, then we can say to ourselves, well, I mean, we can go long from here if you wanted to as well. Support on if you get support on 7,300, you can go long. But if once we get these little 5 waves here, then we should see the market move down from that point. Now, if it doesn't move down and moves back up from this point, comes down and moves back up, well, then we need to be long from that point, because obviously there's a larger structure in play and would have further to move to the upside. And we always like to go along on top of a number 3, in this case 300 is the top of group 1, and it's important. And 72 is important as well. So yeah, but let's just see. Let's just wait for the US markets to push up and see if the Euro markets move up with them as well. Let's just have a look at this on the tick chart. So I was thinking, we can bring this up 1 degree higher here as well. So into a green one. So an A and a B and a C here for wave 4, and most of the other markets have got wave 1 in play here. So we're looking for wave 2 to pull back, which doesn't have to, but can pull back to the 50-60% retracement level here. So we'll just It's always just good to put that in, but also not to marry that situation either. Just it's more important to count the structure. So we're looking for wave 2 here. Also to here, if we break things down a bit further, we've got 1, 2, 3 here. That's the top of group 1 there on sub levels, and then we've got the midpoint, which is 50, and it's a nice little setup on the 50 there. And then we've got group 2. So group 2 is 65, 72, and 80 here. And we normally just put that in orange because I like pretty colors. It's not turning orange. There it is. I'll just move that, put that there. And then we've got group 1 above that. So 70, this is group 1 here, the top of group 1, 300, number 3. And then we've got 10, 20, 30, and then we'll have the midpoint, and then we've got the other guys here. So that's how we break down 100 points, and it's very handy really, because when you're trading long, if you got these here and you know how to work these numbers properly, then you know you build in on this, you build in here, and you start taking profit on these ones here. So beginning, a middle, and an end. So yeah, let's just see, shall we? Let's just see if this pulls back and then moves up from that point. So I'm just looking at the wave count. That's okay for 5 waves. That's cool. So yeah, we can pull back down, and I guess in this case here at 72.50, then that would be not a breach, but at that point, that becoming the resistance, we can short from there. So 72.50 as resistance here. Which is not too far from where we're off. I mean, it's a long way from here, but 72.50 as resistance puts us on the short side. And I mean, you can go long from you know, from this top. You have to wait for this pullback to come in play here. You might be able to get something like that, but yeah, that would be your target to the upside to 73.50 there. Well, instead of trading to 50, 8 is always a profit-taking number, so 73.48. 8 would be the number that you're looking for to you know, take most of it. You can let some run, of course, but yeah. So yeah, that's it. And yeah, I mean, if we take the long side, if we understand, once these 5 waves finishes here and it pulls back here, if it moves up again, or then you know we'll be long from that point, and we'll look at better ways to get into. We don't need to wait for it to take out that high. We'll be able to for instance, just move through like this as well on those 2 highs here, or across here on that high. We can work that, but we just need to see first where we're at with this situation. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.